Hi YouTube, welcome back to Ultimate Postman. My name is Lance. You can just call me Postman. Today, a special video for you. I have phones that I used from 2003 to 2015. 9 phones in all. Some of them are bars, some of them are sliders with keyboards. I have a couple flip phones and 1 brick. I'm meeting up with Marques Brownlee at Leiout 2024 and I'm going to have him randomly review just a few of them. Hey Marques,
yeah,
Ultimate Postman here. I have a couple old phones. You might recognize them, you might not. I'd like to get them rated if you have an idea.
Okay. Well, that's an old phone. I never owned that, so just by the looks, I'm going with like a 6. I miss those keyboards a little bit.
The LG F9100 had a 1030 milliamp hour battery, 160 by 128 display, and only 24 megs of memory. It was a dual band GSM phone for the AT&T and Singular network and was released in late 2004, which was about 2 years after the Sidekick. The special feature other than the actual physical keyboard was a full QWERTY keyboard, which made it a competitor for the Sidekick. Now, I thought this phone was great at the time, but Marques isn't too far off the mark. Most ratings were around 6 to 7. I would agree. Now, outside of phones back in the day, this did actually support AIM messaging, MSN messaging, Yahoo messaging, and you're getting well over 8 hours of talk time, plus multiple days of standby time. And it came out in an era when you actually had a headphone jack on phones.
Lumia
1520.
I did like this phone. I'm going like 8. Also, RIP Windows Phone. Yeah.
Released in late 2013 was the Nokia Lumia 1520. This phablet was the 7th or 9th largest phone on the market. It ran on GSM, LTA, and HSPA networks, and this was one of the last phones that actually came out with Windows Phone on there. It had Windows Phone 8 starting, it went to Windows Phone 10. Now, aside from the fact that it couldn't run a lot of the apps that Android and iOS could run because Windows just wasn't supported, developers weren't really working with it. Some of the notable features: the adjustable tiles. You can go from mini tiles to huge tiles. The 20 megapixel front facing camera could do up to 4K 30 frames a second or 1080 30 frames a second. The selfie camera just being a 720. Internal memory came at 16 or 32 gigs. I don't remember what this had on. It's been a while. And you can actually expand it out with a SD card, SDXC. Connection to your computer was through a micro USB 2.0. And it did come with a headphone jack. 3400 milliamp hour battery allowed for over 20 hours of talk time and over 750 hours of standby time. Now, while the big display did make it nice for viewing videos, the display compared to my Note 25G Ultra is pretty close. My Note 25G is a little bit longer, and the display with the bezel is about the same size, but this white on the outside is actually part of the case itself, the phone case, not an actual phone case, but the backing of it. Quad-core Qualcomm Snapdragon processor. If it could support more apps, I would have actually probably rated it a 9, but otherwise it's an 8. It's in line with what Marques says.
That's my best friend!
Pull them out random. Actually, this is a terrible phone.
Is it Nexus 4?
No, it's a Nokia.
Oh, it looks like a Nexus a little bit with the buttons.
It's a little bit broken.
Just because of the looks, I feel like it's like a 7. I like the Nexus. It looks kind of like a Nexus 5 or 4. No, 5. Nexus 5.
The Nokia Lumia 635 is a smaller version of the 1520. Also not as powerful. The battery is less than half the capacity. The camera is only a 5 megapixel. It is one of the last phones that does feature Windows as a mobile operating system. It is a little slower too, a 1.2 gigahertz processor versus a 2.2 gigahertz processor on the larger phone. I would probably have rated this one a 6. It probably would have got 7 if it was Android based.
that's a classic. That's a 10.
10.
That's a classic. You can't go wrong with the Razor.
All right.
Still trying to relive those days.
The Motorola V3 Razor, one of the most unique phones in the mid-2000s. Not just because it's a flip phone, and there's a lot of flip phones and it looked futuristic, but because of how thin they made everything fit in here. That's why they called it the Razor. Now, really cool feature is you could fill these ridges here. There's little rubber in between the numbers, so it helps you identify where you're at. This was the most popular phone in the US, the best-selling phone in the mid-2000s for about 4 years running, with over 130 million units sold. It had just about everything you needed. It had a camera, expandable memory. You could stick an SD card in there. You could play games. I use it for playing a lot of games. You could text. It had a screen on the front that you could program to have a photo in there or whatever. The only thing that this phone didn't have was a regular headphone jack. You had a USB mini port for charging, kind of like when the iPhones came out with just a port and no headphone jack. That's what this had. So you had to have a headphone that supported the USB mini. Now, Marques did give it a rating of 10, and I'm not too far off. I'd give it a 9 or maybe an 8 because of the lack of the headphone jack, the lack of a forward-facing camera, but that would have been insane if they included it in here. Maybe they could have made it where it rotated around. But other than that, the phone did not feel flimsy at all, despite it being so skinny. Got one more phone.
Banana phone?
Ring, ring, ring.
12. Yeah, that's a 12. I'm a fan. I'm a fan.
The song that came out in 1994 by Kramer and Raffi, and if you've been anywhere online over the last 20 years or so, you've probably seen and heard the song Banana Phone. Ringer the Ultimate last year had Marques Brownlee review a sandwich phone at an AUDL event. I'd been thinking, coming up to Leiout 2024, I should have him review a banana phone. What would you rate ring, 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 banana phone? Go, 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 go. Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you again, Marques, for being gracious with your time on Saturday at Leiout. Thank you all for coming by, checking out my video. If you enjoy my content, if you enjoyed this, leave a comment below. Let me know what your favorite phone is that you used to use, not your current driver. Like my daily driver right now is a Galaxy Note 20 5G Ultra. Love this, won't replace it until maybe the 24, 25, maybe even the 26. Just depends on what the market has, and this thing's still going strong. My favorite phone that he didn't review that was in my bag, I couldn't reach for it, was my HTC Tilt 2. It had a sliding full QWERT keyboard, and it tilted up so you could set it down on table. You didn't need a stand to watch videos. It ran an older version of the Windows mobile operating system. 3.2 megapixel camera. It came with a stylus, which I don't know where it is. Though it did not have a headphone jack, it did plug in via USB mini. My rating for this would probably be about a 7.5, but that's just my opinion. Thank you again so much for stopping by. Like this video, remember to subscribe if you enjoy my content, and I will catch you next time.